Welcome. Today's practice is a spinal extension practice, so we'll be moving into some back bends. Our peak pose is camel pose. Some props that you might enjoy are a folded up blanket or towel. I'm using a knee pad for myself. You also will want a strap or a belt. A towel would work fine too, and a couple of blocks. I'm sitting on mine. We'll begin seated here in hero's pose. So I just have 2 blocks underneath, and I'm seated here to begin our practice. So come into your seated hero's pose. Perhaps you close the eyes or look into the horizon softly. And begin with a few centering breaths. Notice what you brought with you into practice today. Allow it to be. No need to fix or change anything. Just sort of notice what's along for the ride. Pay attention to your breath. Is it shallow, deep? Your heart rate and body temperature. You might want to invite the breath to come in and out through the nose as a Ujjayi practice. And we'll begin with some shoulder flossing. So take your strap or whatever you're using to connect your hands and take as wide a grip as you need to be able to take your arms up over your head and around. So we'll inhale, arms up. You might have to adjust here. Take your hands a little wider. Exhale, bring them back. And we'll just floss the shoulders here. So really have your hands as wide as you need to so that you're not kind of letting your shoulders clunk around there. We're looking for some nice smooth movement, warming up into the shoulders. Okay. Last one, end with the arms in front. And then place the strap off to the side. From here, let's take the arms, reach them out to a T, and we're moving in and out of cow's face arms. So you'll just take one arm up, one arm down, and right back to a T. And then switch it out. The other arm comes up, the other arm comes down. And just flow here nice and easy. Feeling into your shoulders this morning. So camel is a big back extension pose, but there's also an element of shoulder mobility that is needed. So we're just exploring the shoulders to get started. We'll do one more here. Even out your sides. And take the arms out to a T. And then on your exhale, we'll do a really big hug it in. So round through your back, hug everything in. Inhale, open up, sort of a seated cat-cow. Exhale, hug it in. Opposite arm comes on top. Inhale, open up. As you open up, maybe let your thumbs lead. And then close, allow your hands to go palms down again. We'll do 2 more here. Open up and close. Last time. Nice way to get into the breath this morning. Take the hands out and down to the sides. Let's go ahead and move into all fours. All right, so I'll take my blocks off to the side. Strap moves out of the way. And we'll move into a cat-cow. So find nice support with the hands, pressing through the whole of both hands, not locking out through the elbows. We'll drop the belly, lift the heart, lifting with the heart. So find the sternum drawing forward. Exhale, round through the spine. So today, let's see if we can focus on the extension, the lifting happening between the neck and the belly button, instead of just the neck or just the low back. See if you can really let that be happening from the upper thoracic spine. We'll do 2 more here. And then shift it on back to child's pose. In child's pose, let's get a nice side body stretch. So walk your hands over to the right-hand side of the mat. Take your left hand on top of the right, or you might like to put your left hand on top of a block. Sink here. See if you can draw your left pelvis away from your left side of the ribs. Sink and breathe. And walk your hands the opposite way. Maybe the right hand goes on top of the left, or the right hand goes on top of a block. Draw the right side of the pelvis away from the right side of the ribs. Let the head be heavy. You might like to find a place for it to rest even. And then come on back to neutral. We'll come back up to all fours. We'll think about connecting through the core here a little bit. So let's take the left toes back, lift the left heel up to about hip height. As the right arm reaches, think about making a nice connection through the front of the body from the right side of the chest to the left front of the hips. See if you can really draw that X out there, that diagonal, and bring it back down. Let's switch it out. The right toes go back about up to hip height, left arm reaches. Again, see if you can find that connection, like picture a connection from the hip point of the right to the collarbone on the left, and see if you can really make a connection there. Connection of awareness. And bring it back. We'll flow this one arm, one leg, opposite arm and leg a couple of times each side. So inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, right leg, left arm. And bring it down. So this could look like you just sliding your fingers forward and your toes back and keeping everything on the earth today. No problem with that. We'll just do one more time each side. All right, and then again, we'll head back to child's. We're not staying in child's very long this time. Go ahead and curl your toes underneath and lift back up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, maybe pedal out the feet. Spend a few breaths here, feeling into down dog this morning or this evening, whenever you're doing the practice. And then we'll walk the feet forward to the top of the mat. Finding our forward fold, Uttanasana. Let's reverse the swan dive, come all the way up. Hands come together to heart center. We'll move into some sun salutations. I'm going to lead these one set knees down, one set knees lifted. Choose whichever version you like. So inhale, arms reach out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, hands come down, right leg goes back. Inhaling, arms reach. Exhale, back to child's Halasana. Inhale, bring it forward into plank. Shift and lower to the ground. Rolling the shoulders open, Bhujangasana, baby cobra. And then press it on back to child's. Inhale to all fours. Exhale, right foot comes forward to the top of the mat. Inhaling, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive all the way up. Hands come together to heart center. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, hands down, left leg goes back to a lunge. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale back, child's pose. Inhale, bring it forward into plank. Shift and lower to the earth. Inhale, roll open, baby cobra. Exhale, press it on back, child's. Inhale, left foot comes forward to a lunge. Should have come maybe to all fours there. Bring the arms, reach them up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse it all the way. Hands come together. We'll do a series with the knees lifted. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, hands down, right leg goes back to a lunge. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring it forward into plank. Shift and lower to the earth. Finding Bhujangasana, baby cobra again this morning. And press it on back, down dog. Inhale, right leg goes high. Exhale, bring it through. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse it. Hands come together to heart center. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, hands down, left leg goes back to a lunge. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, back, down dog. Inhale, bring it forward into plank. Shift and lower to the earth. Bhujangasana only. And press it on back. Inhale, left leg goes high. Exhale through. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse it. Come all the way up. Hands come together to heart center. Bring the hands on down. Let's stand tall in mountain in Tadasana and sort of regroup. Check in. What's your body temperature? What's your heart rate? What's your breath pace? Feeling really rooted to the earth. The crown of the head reaching towards the sky. We'll make our way back down to the mat. So inhale, arms reach out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, step it on back to child's pose or downward facing dog. We'll spend about 3 breaths here transitioning. From here, let's meet in downward facing dog, and we'll all take the right leg up high to the sky and bring the right foot forward to the top of the mat. Here, let's drop the back leg. So we're in a low lunge. Walk your hands on up. And today in our low lunge, let's focus on that extension, the length in the front part of the lowered leg. So we'll keep the hands on the thigh, lifting through the heart here. We'll take the right hand to the thigh, left arm reaches up and over. We'll add a little side body stretch. Hold here. Bring the arm back down. From here, we'll move into a high lunge. So we'll grab your blocks if you'd like, come up off of the back left leg, and walk the hands on up, making your way to a high lunge. From our high lunge, we'll open up to warrior two. From here, let's take the hands, flip them palms up, straighten through your front leg. Let's dance it out a little bit. And then right back into your warrior two, just getting into the hips a bit differently, reaching and lowering. We'll do two more at your own pace. And then hold your warrior two. From warrior two, let's find side angle. So you can either take your forearm to your thigh, reach and lengthen here. So we're looking for a nice long line from the outside of the left foot all the way up to your pinky on your left side. Here's a way to find a little extra support. If you're looking for a little bit more heat today, you might want to reach your right arm up off of the thigh. I'm going to stay right here. We'll be here for about 3 breaths. And from here, let's take the left arm, bring it back around. We'll pivot so that we're facing the front of the room, so you're pivoting back to your lunge from your side angle. And then let's step forward to the top of the mat, sink back into chair. From chair, we'll bring the hands to heart center. Hold here for a breath. And then arms reach out to the front. Drop the left arm, twist, bring it back. Drop the right arm, twist, and bring it back. We'll do that one more time each side. And stand tall and mountain. From here, we're moving into eagle pose, Garudasana. So take the arms, reach them up towards the sky. We'll bring the hands together to heart center, sit back in a baby chair. From here, we'll shift the weight into the right leg. Left leg comes up and over. You're going to touch, I'm going to turn to face you, but you can stay at the top of the mat. You're going to touch your left leg down on the outside of the right. You could leave it here. If it's part of your anatomy to tuck it all the way around, totally fine. You're welcome to tuck it all the way around. So wherever you'd like to stay today. We'll take the arms out to a T. So the left leg went over, so the left arm comes under. You're either going to hug the arms around or bring the hands to touch. And we'll hold here, Garudasana. Eagle pose, maybe. Maybe we're holding, maybe we're not. It's a big balance. That's why we're starting out here in chair. Get us down a little lower. Let the legs hug in together. And then we'll inhale, arms reach, leg lifts. Exhale, bring it on back. So now you're standing at the top of the mat. From here, we'll do a little roll down to make our way back down before we do the other side. So let your chin fall towards your sternum. Let everything start to roll inward. So you're just thinking about everything getting really heavy. The head is heavy. Your ponytail maybe is heavy. Everything is just drawing you slow, controlled down towards the earth. Finding your way to your forward fold. The head is dropped. And then we'll step it on back to child's pose or downward facing dog, or this might be an opportunity if you're looking for more heat to roll through a little vinyasa. And that would look just like the last part of our sun salutation. So you're inhaling, making your way forward into plank, shift and lower to the earth or to chaturanga, inhaling into a heart opener, and then exhaling back to either child's pose or downward facing dog. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. And then we'll all meet in downward facing dog. If you're not there already. Inhale, left leg goes high. Exhale it through to a lunge. Again, drop the back right knee. Walk your hands on up. Hands come to the front left thigh now and lengthen. We're looking to find a little space in the front of the right hip now. If you're particularly bendy, watch that you don't fall into this. We don't want to fall into our ligaments and just hang out there. So if you're particularly bendy, you're maybe finding a little bit of extra structure here by thinking about drawing your knee forward and lifting more upright than down. We'll take the left arm to the thigh, right arm reaches up and over, add a little side bend. Let's unwind that side bend. Grab your blocks, come up off of your back right knee. Walk the hands on up. And here we're rotating open to warrior two. I'm going to turn so I'm facing you. Here in our warrior two, we'll take the hands, flip them palms up, settle into your hips a bit. Inhale, arms reach, legs straightens. Exhale it down. We'll do that pumping or dancing motion after this 2 more times. And then hold your warrior two. Here's where we shift into our side angle. So again, your left arm can come down to your thigh, thinking about giving some of that weight to your back right leg. Find your nice long line, right arm reaching up. You could hover your left arm. If this doesn't feel great to your top shoulder, maybe tuck it into the back pocket or find a different place for it to land. We'll be here about 3 breaths. Right, from here, take the arm, pivot around so that now you're back into your lunge, and we'll step forward into standing. In standing, we'll sink the hips, reach it back into chair. Inhale, drop the right arm, open it up. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, drop the left arm. Exhale, bring it back. 1 more time each side. Inhale, drop the right arm. Bring it back. Inhale, drop the left arm. Bring it back. From here, we'll move into standing and prepare for eagle pose. So for eagle pose, we'll sit back into a little baby chair. Let's bring the hands to heart center. This time the weight will shift to the left leg. So right leg lifts up and over. Your right toes maybe touch to the ground here. Maybe they anchor all the way around. Yogi's choice. Find the amount of stability that feels right for you today. Take the arms out to a T. Right leg went over, so right arm comes under, either hugging or palm to palm. If you're moving into either of these poses, either of these places with the arms, think about letting your neck be long. So shoulders are relaxing away from the ears. Maybe the elbows are lifted. And then we'll press into standing, reach the arms, dismount, headed back. Okay, standing nice and tall at the top of your mat. We'll move into a forward fold again. Let's roll that down again. So be easy, be kind of loose here as you start to roll down. We'll let the chin tuck. Let everything collapse towards the sternum. Feeling the weight throughout your feet. You make your way all the way down to a forward fold. Let's spend a couple of breaths here in your forward fold. Let the head be heavy. And then you'll step back, making your way to downward facing dog or to child's, or to do one of those little vinyasa moves, that little half series. You have a few breaths here. Let's take 3 transitional breaths, either in child's pose or in downward facing dog. And then we'll come all the way up and make our way down to the earth. Here we're moving into a few heart openers. We'll start with a baby cobra, which we've already done. It's a bhujangasana. As we lift into baby cobra, we're drawing the shoulder blades back and the chest up off of the floor partially, and there's no real weight on the hands here. So we're only going up as far as our back extensors allow. And notice if you're doing all of this with your head, can you stay long through the cervical spine, allowing the chin to not really tuck, but still be connected towards the chest. And then we'll lower it down, resting the head wherever it feels comfortable. Okay, we're moving into a little bigger cobra. So that's our baby cobra, baby bhujangasana. Our bigger cobra, we can take the hands anywhere you want, really. You can take them further out in front of you, further close to your shoulders. And then from here, we're pressing and lifting. Now, it's easy to let all of this happen in the superstar of back extension, which is either the neck or the lumbar spine. Where we want to find as much extension as possible is in the thoracic spine, so where your rib cage is. So think about that as you move. Can you squeeze the shoulder blades together and allow there to be some movement that happens in the upper part of your back, not allowing the low back to take over? It's going to take over somewhat, but really let your focus be on that upper back. And we'll just roll this up and down. You're slow and controlled. You are getting as much extension as feels good to you with that focus on the upper back. And then we'll come on down and rest a few breaths. Okay, our next back opener, while we're here down here on our stomachs, is locust pose or shalabhasana. So we'll bring our hands back by our sides here. I like to have the palms face the mat, although sometimes it's taught with the palms facing up. So maybe we'll do 2 or 3 of these and you can play with where your arms go. So in locust pose, it's a very active pose. So we're lifting up our chest up off the floor as well as our legs. So let's start just by rolling the shoulder blades together, lifting the arms and hands, continuing to keep a little connection between the chin and the chest, and then perhaps the feet lift. And the feet are lifting from your glute strength, from the upper part of your leg. Hold here and breathe. And lower that on down. Again, rest. You might I like to put my hands underneath my forehead, but you might find that you like to turn one way or another. And that's fine. Just be sure that you switch the directions that your head faces. All right, we'll do another locust pose. If last time you had your palms facing down, this time let's have the palms facing up. So from here, again, you'll take the shoulder blades, draw them together, lift the hands up off of the earth, and then the feet start to float. So if you find that you get a little bit of tension in your low back, you can always lower the feet, or you can allow your feet to separate more. You could play with what feels better to you. Every back is not the same. So decide where your feet need to be and where your hands need to be. And then from here, we'll lower it on down. Right. We're doing one more heart opener from the floor. This is Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx, we'll bring the forearms underneath us so the elbows and shoulders are pretty much stacked here. And you can just kind of look down to see if your elbows and shoulders are stacked. You're pressing the hands into the floor and using this action of the arms to help draw the heart forward. So as you're drawing the heart forward, being careful to not get too much extension in the low back. So again, if you start to feel something in the low back, you can lower down. Notice that we're not like falling into this, like as if you were playing on the floor with your kids or something. But we're really pressing out of the floor and staying nice and active. This is another really active heart opener. We'll have one more breath here. And to come out of it this time, we're going to roll it up. So we'll take the hands together, interlace the fingers, and then start to roll the low belly. So lift the ribs up off the floor, the belly button comes up off the floor, the hip points until you're in a forearm plank. So we're in a forearm kneeling plank. I'd like us to stay here for 2 breaths. Feeling the active engagement through the core, length through the spine. Right? And then we'll just press it on back up to all fours. We'll pause here in all fours, moving into a side bend. So we did a lot of heart openers there, so I don't want to go straight to flexion. We're going to be easy on the back today. So we'll take the hips or the feet to the right and then look to the right. Move into a little side bend. Breathe here. And then switch that out, feet to the left, look to the left. And then come on back to neutral. We can meet back in child's pose for 3 breaths before we move into our camel variations. All right, so come on up. We're moving into kneeling. So this is where you might want to have your knee pad. If you don't have something to put your knees on, you could also just roll up your mat and you can just give yourself a little bit of padding that way. This works just fine to just give yourself a little bit of padding. So a couple of things to think about in terms of pad placement, whether I'm going to use my knee pad, I just think you'll be able to see it a little bit better. In terms of pad placement, if you are super tender in the knees, then sometimes even going to a pad is not enough. I call it kind of like the toilet seat dilemma, like if you still have pressure someplace. So you could also scoot yourself forward so that your trying to show you, so that your knees can kind of hang off of the mat. If that pressure that you receive, that feedback that you get from your knees is all about the front part of your knees, that can be really useful. So then it's more like just your lower leg is on the mat. So make choices that work well for you. So we're going to move into this a couple of different ways. One of those ways is that we're going to be really active. I want to turn on some of the parts of the body that help support us in camel. So the first way we're going to do that is just keeping a nice long spine. You can have the toes curled under if you'd like. That feels okay to your feet. And then we'll just shift back and forward. And you're just kind of practicing letting the front part of your body catch you, because you do need to have the front part of your body engaged when you're at least coming in and out of camel. Go in and out a couple more times. Feel your quads kick on, all of those things. Okay. We're going to go into camel from seated. So you'll go ahead and shift back, lower the hips. We'll use blocks. There are a couple of different variations we'll try with this today. The first one is to use blocks, and you'll use your hands pressing down into the blocks to help lift you up. And as you lift up, you're thinking about leading with your sternum. So camel is kind of interesting because we're trying to get this extension through the whole of the back. We want things to be even. We don't want anything to be superstar. The vertebrae, we want them to work as a group, not as a hinge. But the low back and the cervical spine, they want to do more. They have more available to them, so they're going to want to do a little bit more. So we're going to focus on letting the heart lead so that we get more of that extension where it's a little harder for us to get here in the upper back. So we use the hands pressing down. Go ahead and lift up. You can see that you're drawing your hips forward. If you draw the hips forward, the heart starts to lift. I like to keep the cervical spine engaged here. It does not feel good to me to let the head go on back because I don't have enough flexibility. I don't have enough openness in the rest of my back. And then let's lower it on down. So we'll practice that again, one more time. Hands are on the blocks. We'll start to roll open through the shoulders, lifting with the heart and with the hips. Moving into camel. Hold here, easy breath. And let it on go. Let it go on down, releasing through the front of the legs. Okay, let's come on up. This time we're going to start high, but we're going to give ourselves a little bit of support for the neck. So we'll take that right arm, reach it up, and let your body open up. So this right hand is going to reach back to your heels if that's part of your practice, or like me, to a block. So I'm using this block to allow myself to roll open. This left arm is going to come back and cradle the back of the head. And while it cradles the back of the head, it's going to support my head as I start to roll open here. And then my heads are heavy. Then my head has a little help of support. I don't have to worry quite so much. You might have to play around with how much room you give yourself on the block. I know I do. I need a little bit more length. I'm just kind of stiff in that part of my spine. And then we'll unwind, allow the hips to come back, let go of the neck with the left hand, and then use your quads to bring you back to the front. And we'll do that one more time. So the left arm reaches up. We'll do the other side. Rolls open until it reaches back here to the block or the floor. The right arm reaches up, grabs hold of the back of the neck. So now I have, or the back of the head really. So now I have some support as I start to roll open. I need to be up a little bit higher. Roll open. And I'll start to release this by shifting my hips back, release through the head, come back around, and let the quads draw me forward. Okay, we've just been in 2 different versions of camel. And now we rest. Let's go ahead and make our way into seated. We're moving into a twist as a counter pose to our back bend. We could move straight into flexion, but we're going to give the spine a little something different to feel here. So let's draw the left heel towards your right sitting bone, and then your right leg can either go directly in front of you, or it can cross over to the other side of your leg. This would also be a perfectly fine place to sit up on something. So I have a little knee pad here. I'm just going to give my back a little bit, or my bum a little lift to help my back be a little bit longer. All right, so from here, settle in. Your hips are uneven, so there's no need to really rock them around and try to get them totally 100%, but draw your awareness to how uneven they really are and see if you can find a little bit more length in the spine, a little bit more symmetry. We'll take the left hand, reach around, grab hold of the right leg. So we're not going to use this as a big way to torque around on the twist, but we are going to use it for support. So holding onto the leg here, the right arm lifts up, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, twist around. Your right hand might fall to the floor here, or it might fall to a block. You might like a little lift here too. So find wherever you need your hand to land. Now, you have this left hand grabbing here. You might like to keep it here, or you might like to reach it up and then anchor the elbow. Again, totally fine to use this for support, but not to use it as a torque. So I'm not going to like dig in here and really crank around here to find more twist. I'm just using it to help me find some length and support. The twist is really coming from my abdominals holding me here. And I know that that's the case because if I lifted up my arms, I would stay here in this twist. All right, let's unwind, bring it back around. We'll move into a little forward fold here before we do the other side. So you can let both of your legs fall. Just let the, it doesn't have to be soles of the feet on the earth. I just let that fall to the tops of my feet. And then I'm going to anchor my sitting bones and then walk it on out. Finding a little bit of a forward fold, some back rounding, and certainly some hip stretching. And bring it on back. All right, from here we'll switch it out. So right heel towards my left hip, and then my left leg is either going to come in front or it's going to go around. Remember, you have 2 different hips, 2 different histories. You might need something different for each side. Honor that. All right, I'll be here for a breath or 2, settling into the hips, seeing if I can find a little more in the direction of symmetry here. Breathe easy. And I'm going to take the right hand, hug the left knee in. Left arm reaches towards the sky, spins open. The left hand reaches around to either the floor or a block. I'm using this to help me find length in the spine. You might want to keep your right hand here, or you could reach it up and draw the right elbow inside of the left leg. And notice that you're not torquing. You're not torquing your spine or your arms to get a little more twist. Wind, all of that. Allow the feet to fall. So I'm kind of going knee over knee here. And from here, walk it on out, release. And then we'll walk our hands back up, unwind the legs. We're moving into one more pose before we head to our backs for Shavasana. Just moving into a forward fold. So take your legs out in front of you, and we're moving into Dandasana, just a little forward fold. So a couple of things to consider here is, one, if you are really tight, even just to sit up here, if you find that sitting upright with the legs extended has you rolling here, you need to do something to help you be able to roll forward. That might be digging your heels in and finding a little tension back here. Just by digging my heels in, I'm rolling my pelvis forward. And I can stay really active here through the back of the legs, which is part of what I'm stretching anyway, and then start to release down. And this is just one active way of keeping a lot of that pressure out of the low back. I could also roll something up to put underneath my knees. Another option would be to give myself some support here. Another option is I could do this by rolling the mat too, or I can just take a blanket or a bolster of some kind and sit up on that. Now, the trick about this one is that instead of like just sitting here and then I'm just continuing to roll back, is I'm going to shift forward so that my sitting bones kind of fall off the front here and the flesh stays up here on the back part of it. And that helps this is all about what's happening with the pelvis as we move into this forward fold. So I want that pelvis to start moving in the direction of the forward fold. I don't want the pelvis to be left behind and be back here. So I'm giving it a help in those three different ways of allowing it to roll forward. So from here, I'm just going to walk my hands down, find a place that I know that I feel some lengthening through the back of the legs, and then I'm going to rest, letting everything sort of fall. This would be a nice place to have blocks. I could put my hands on blocks. I could put my forehead on a block. That actually sounds really nice. Maybe let my forehead rest. Again, heads are heavy. You'll be here for a few breaths and really let the pose evolve. What I mean by that is if, as you start to feel things soften, allow that and change the amount of support you're giving yourself based on what you feel. Two more breaths. And then walk everything back up, nice and slow. Give yourself a moment. And then you'll make your way all the way onto your back. A supported way to make it onto your back is to grab a hold of the back of one leg, just roll it on down, and make your way into a Shavasana. You could have your knees bent, maybe tenting them together, legs out straight. If you have all of those props, you might like to put something underneath your knees. Find a nice rest here. And this is a perfect place to have your own timer, to make your own length of time for Shavasana. So I hope you take at least 5 minutes or so and let your timer go off, and then spend a couple of extra breaths as you make your way back to join the world. Thanks for your practice, and enjoy your next